The calling to the priesthood was something that I was born with. I don't feel like it was something that was one moment when I was called to it. So my main influence was my uncle. So he's a priest, he's a diocesan priest. So, often he would come visit my family and stuff. And so I got to know him really well. Everything he did, I thought it was really cool, especially when he celebrated Mass. And so my uncle, he saw that I was interested in the priesthood. So he would keep inviting me to, parish activities, but I never really told him about the priesthood. One day I went to go visit him, and he took me to this seminary in Connecticut. And that was when I realized priests are normal people, and I would love to do that. And I remember coming home that day and telling my mom, "Mom, I want to be a seminarian." And now I'm here.
I was always attracted to priests and what they did and their service to people. I always wanted to be someone who was at service to others. My major discernment came whenever I was 14. In Huntsville, Alabama. I was at the Shrine of the Most Blessed Sacrament on a youth retreat. And it was there that my pastor, Father Binder, asked me the question. He asked us to ask our Lord, who am I? Who am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do? And so I did, and thankfully he told me he wanted me to be a priest. That didn't come immediately right then and there, but over time, because of that question that I asked, he told me in prayer and adoration. And then 4 years later, I applied and got accepted, thankfully.
There's many different factors that played into me wanting to become a priest. The first one would definitely be my family. I came from a very devout Catholic family, very loving, also a homeschooled family. Since 8 years old, I've been serving that whole entire time period. It's been the greatest thing. One of my favorite things in my whole life is being there present, close to our Lord. Because we were homeschooled, we could go to daily Mass and do our school afterwards. So I had the ability to go to Mass practically every day and serve for the priest. So I would definitely say that's the leading factor that led me to seminary.
So my brief vocation story started, let's say, my retreat for my confirmation. I was 14 or 15, so about 5 to 6 years ago. We were in adoration, prepping for, obviously, the sacrament, and I just felt a voice saying, "Connor, I want you to be a priest for me." And I didn't know what to do with that, of course, so I immediately went to my pastor, Father Putnam, and I talked to him about it, and he just said, "All right, let's just see how it plays out." And fast forward a couple of years throughout high school, I'd always been keeping that in the back of my mind. I could never get it out. There's nothing I could do to get away from it. It always just kept coming back, the idea, "I want you to be a priest for me." And then ultimately, towards the end of high school, I was dating this one girl, and I prayed a novena to Saint Therese of Lisieux. I just asked Saint Therese to give me a red rose if I truly needed to be seriously discerning joining the seminary. And fast forward 9 days, and I went to Mass on the Feast of the Sacred Heart, and the whole sanctuary at St. Mark was just covered in red roses. That was a big shock. And so at that moment, for the next 2 years, I seriously started discerning. I really got down to it. I really focused on my prayer and grow closer in my relationship to God and Our Lady. And then I really just focused on all of that, and throughout my 2 years at college, prior to joining St. Joseph, and now we're here.